Hello my gardening friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Seema. This is Garden a Little. This is my garden. If you're not a gardener, this is definitely a video that you want to watch. And if you are a gardener and if you're trying to save some money, which is all of us, this is a video for you. Today is all about seed saving. If you know, I like to start my plants, pretty much all of them, from seeds. Why? Because I like the challenge and it's so much cheaper and more affordable. And then you get so much more out of what you grow because you can have different varieties, different acclimations with different schedules. It's really up to you. If you depend on big box stores, nothing wrong with that. It does give you a head start, which I've experienced with my peppers this year. But usually big box stores offer only very select few varieties, and once it's out of season, you can't get your hands on it. So therefore, if you want to grow more tomatoes, if you want to grow more cucumbers or whatever, you can't because they're not selling it in the big box stores. Now, I will be walking around my whole entire garden and basically saying how I will save the seeds for that specific plant. I have plenty of examples to show you, but the main theme across the whole entire scheme here will be wait until your plant matures or fruit matures before harvesting the seeds, and I will reiterate that time and time again. So let's get ready. You guys already know me. I will show you the real garden. It's not going to be all perfect and Instagrammy and Pinteresty, but it's real and it works for me. This season has been especially rough, but still welcome back to this mess here. Now, if you're a gardener, no matter if you like tomatoes or hate tomatoes, you're probably grown tomatoes, because what kind of garden will it be without tomatoes? So let's talk about saving tomato seeds. You can save whatever seeds you'd like. Now, you do need to keep that in mind that if a tomato plant has been growing alongside of other varieties, there could be some cross-pollination going on. So, for example, if I'm growing a cherry tomato and a big yellow tomato right next to it, the seed from either of the tomatoes could be a hybrid of those two tomatoes together, depending what pollinated each one of them. So you kind of have to keep that in mind when saving seeds. You might think that the next year will be a cherry tomato. However, when you plant it, it might be a bigger cherry tomato or a yellow cherry tomato or something in between. Could be a cross between those two. So I like that part because it's like a surprise, you know, you never know. But if you prefer to stick to your varieties, one thing that you can do is hand pollinate and then just close off that bloom with the baggie. I don't know if you've seen that, you probably have. Many people do that just to preserve seeds and varieties, and why wouldn't you if you wanted to do that? Now, I'm not too deep into that, so I don't do that. Now, one of my favorite tomatoes that I'm going to be talking today is the blush tomato. This is the one. It tastes like candy. I absolutely love it. Now, I like to harvest it when it's nice and yellow and stripy like so. Now, if you want to save seeds, you really have to wait until it's like really ripe. So this is the what I like to harvest, and this is really ripe. So you see how it's red? It's much softer than this one right here. But you want it to be like almost overripe for the seeds to be mature. Now, another thing here is intimidating that I've seen on social media so much and on YouTube is that there's like this whole process of doing this right now. So let me just open this tomato up. Yes, I bit it off. But you can already see that there are seeds right in there. Do you see that? Now, they're all covered in a little bit of like jelly. It's a protective layer. When the seed falls into the ground, it's not going to automatically sprout. It will wait for the whole tomato to rot. That gelatin area around it will rot with it, and then next spring the seeds will come up. So we want to get really rid of that jello part. So what can we do? You can wash it off. So a lot of people, this is the kind of the like intimidating part. A lot of people put it in a glass of water, soak it, then you have to wait which seeds sink, which seeds float. I'm not about that. You can do that. It's probably more appropriate, but I'm here to deliver some easy news for you to go garden a little, not to be sucked into a rabbit hole. So no further ado, what do? I take a tissue or paper towel, I squeeze out the juicy parts here. This is skin. Once you squeeze this whole meaty part out, you can really just go along and squeeze out any of the seeds. This can go to chickens or into your mouth. And then voila, you got seeds. You can spread them out evenly like so. Or, you know, however you'd like. And then you have yourself seeds. I mean, this is probably 30 to 40 seeds right here. That's more than I need. And I'm pretty confident that most of these are gonna germinate. Now, why am I confident? It's because I've saved seeds before from the tomatoes and they did fantastic. Now, after a few days, it will look dried out like this, nothing will fall. And these are from Sun Gold. And the reason why I like putting them on tissue papers like so is that I can write what kind of tomato I saved it from. Sun Gold. But again, you don't know if it's going to be a pure Sun Gold or a cross or whatnot, which is fine. So once they're all dried out like that, another reason why I like saving seeds on a paper towel like this is that you can cut out the seeds with the paper towel and it kind of gives them a little bit of like something to hold on with the moisture when you plant it. You don't have to do that. You can literally peel these off one by one. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little seed in my hand and just plant them just like you regularly would. So that's my little tip on tomato seed saving. Again, what kind of garden would it be if you didn't have cucumbers? So with cucumbers, very similar story. It depends on what variety you're growing. You're waiting for them to turn yellow. Now my variety rarely turns yellow. This is probably as yellow as it will go. Now, same story, you open it up and you get those seeds out. Now, same kind of story. The seeds are covered in like jello substance. Very slippery, so we're gonna put quite a few on here and they fall out really easily. Look at that, just all out, boom. So I'm gonna do that with the rest of the cucumber. Same story here, you wait for them to dry out, label them, and save them until next year to plant. Okay, let's follow the trend. The next most common thing to grow are peppers. So whatever pepper you're growing doesn't really matter. You want it to, again, wait until it matures and over matures basically. So for example, jalapeno, you want to harvest it when it's nice and ripe, nice and good size green jalapeno usually, right? Now if I want to harvest seeds, I want to wait until it turns red right on the stem because you want the seeds inside to be nice and mature. Now for this, you want to definitely put some gloves on because these are going to be spicy. And trust me, no matter how much you wash those hands, it's going to take a few days for that spice to come out. Now with this, the seeds are not covered in gelatin. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it in a Ziploc bag and just label it on a Ziploc bag. But it's very easy. Again, should have brought a knife out or something here. I've been opening up all the vegetables with my teeth. So kind of opening it up here. Inside, you can kind of see there's some whiteness going on. Those are the seeds. Try not to lose them. Now there's always a ton of seeds. Oh man, dropped a few. Look, all of those white little things, those are seeds. Now that's what we want to save. So where's my handy dandy Ziploc bag here? And we're just gonna literally shave off those seeds into my Ziploc bag. And just like so. Almost all seeds come out because they're already so mature. They don't really stick to the inside. That was pretty easy. Took me just a few seconds. And here are the seeds. I mean, that's probably 40, 45 seeds in here from this tiny little pepper, So again, just gonna put them all in here. Now I don't wanna lock it. I definitely wanna spread them out a little bit. Want to air it out because I want them to dry. This is very important. You want all of your seeds to dry before you store them because if you don't, they will get moldy, mold kills it, and then you don't have viable seeds for next season. So be careful. We are losing daylight, but we're keeping going. Next one on the list are radishes. Now I've pulled these up about a week and a half ago. I've pulled them up so the seed pods can dry. Radishes, if you can remember that big pink one that I had growing in the corn bed, and then this golden radish that was growing in the bed right behind me in that same cucumber bed. Now I've waited for them to bolt, meaning that they had big stems coming out of them. They formed flowers and eventually formed little bulbs like this. Now inside of these little bulbs are seeds, and today we're harvesting those seeds. Now I don't really care between keeping the difference of the two. The reason is because I just like radishes. I don't really care which variety they are, and they both taste very similar to me, so I'm going to save them together in one baggie just to save space. All right, so each of these pods have seeds. So for example, we're going to take this one, crush it open. You see these seeds falling out? Let me show them to you. Look at them. So we got 1, 2, and a tiny fourth one there, just in one little pod. So I'm going to be doing that with the rest of the pods and putting it in the little Ziploc baggie. Now with this, you don't have to wait until they dry out because they've already been dried out. So you can seal this Ziploc bag, no problem. Another thing that you can do with these pods is that you don't have to open them up. Like if I open them up, you can see they have, this one has 4 good seeds and 3 bad seeds. Now, you don't have to get them out of the pods. You can actually plant the actual pod in the ground. Now the pod, or this stuff in here, will deteriorate, and eventually the seed, I'm gonna crush this one, the seed will germinate inside of it and will grow. Now the reason, what you're risking is that if that pod has like 6 viable seeds, that will be way too crowded for the radishes. You do want to space them out a little bit more than that. Now, I'm a little bit tempted to just put these small little pods in here like this, because the chance of this having 6 seeds is very minimal, but the chance of it having like 1 or 2 seeds is pretty good. So if I plant this, I'll get just a couple of radishes and it won't be overcrowded. Let's talk about the next plant over here. Those are lima beans. Again, you are waiting for the beans. See how the green they are? This is probably a little bit past prime to eat it. You want to harvest it a little bit younger, but regardless, you're waiting for this greenery to turn to not so greenery. And what you do is you get the beans from inside. Here they are. These are pretty easy because they are so giant. You get 2 beans here. And again, you don't have to save all these seeds, but I have quite a few pods here. So I'm going to just crack open a few. Again, these are dried out, so you do not need to leave this bag open to dry out because seeds have already been dried out on the plants, which is exactly what I want them to do. Now we're going to put them in here. We're going to label them. They are good to go for next year planting. And let's move over to my next bean. Not much is left. As you can see, it's pretty dried out, but it's a very similar story. So here's my dried out bean pod. You open it up and here you are. You have so many beans here, right here. Each one of these are viable seeds for next year. I mean, just from one bean pod, so you don't have to save a million, but just from one bean pod, look at this. You can plant a whole bed of beans. This is incredible. I'm trying to hurry up because we're losing light, but next thing on the list is kale. Right now it looks disgusting and ridiculous because the worms have eaten it. Now when it does go to flower and when it does like a beautiful yellow flower, it kind of looks like this, but green. Now you probably have seen it in my videos past. I actually cut this down and let it dry. Now, each one of these pods, just like with a radish, they're so delicate. I'm going to try to not lose all these seeds. Each one of these pods can open up, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. And let's see. One pod has about that many seeds. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 seeds in one pod. Again, that's like a whole row of kale. That's incredible. Again, I'm gonna save it in a Ziploc bag because it's already dried. I don't need to unlock it and wait for it to dry out. I'm gonna only harvest a few of these. The rest I am going to just chuck because I do not need that many kale seeds. Now they are very fragile, so every time I open one, I lose a few. So even right now though, I have about 12 seeds already, which is, you know, pretty substantial already. So just a few more and kale will be done. It's so easy, literally, guys. I'm so hopeful that you can just see this and be so encouraged to do this. You can do it. Okay, let's talk herbs a little bit. For example, let's talk this basil here. Basil is so tiny and so fragile. Now again, you kind of want it to dry out. You kind of want it to die a little bit. For example, this is a pretty dried out stem looking thing right here. I am just literally going to do this. I'm gonna find some dried out pods, just like so. And that's the same idea as with radishes. You do not have to actually uncover each individual seed. You can. You could probably see it right over here. Those 2 black dots, those are the seeds. But these are individual pods. You can plant the pods and it will sprout basil. So again, you don't need a whole ton. This is a whole lot of basil already right now in my hand. And that was from just one branch of the basil. So again, letting you guys know this is super easy, so doable. You can do it, guys. This is how you do basil. All right, next one on the list is lettuce. So out of lettuce plants that come with these delicious leaves, right now they're super bitter because the plant went and flowered, and then it forms these little kind of fuzzy things, almost like a dandelion. Now, each one of these fuzzes actually holds seeds. Again, you can't believe how many seeds are right here on this little branch. Let's see. One pod of the fuzzballs. Look at that. That's insane. That's like 15 seeds right here from one little fuzzball. Again, this is so easy, you guys. You can definitely do it. The only thing that it takes is space in your garden. Now, not everybody has space, and I understand that, but just imagine how much you're investing into your future. Let's talk dill. We're almost there, guys. Dill is very, very easy. One of the easiest ones. So, as you know, dill grows up. It has delicious branches. One of my favorite herbs is dill. I probably will never get tired of it, but once it flowers, it forms these yellow flowers like this. Each one of these flowers gets pollinated. Again, you gotta wait for it to kind of very much so dry out. I'm gonna bring this up close to you. Dried out. This was yellow, not anymore, obviously. Now, this stem right here holds so many seeds. Each one of these black things, these are seeds. These are super duper easy. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Bam. This is probably 30 seeds from just one little head of flower. 30 seeds. You guys know that I always say, don't only grow what you eat, but also grow beauty. Flowers. Flowers are very similar to, especially zinnias. I'm gonna show you how to save seeds of zinnias. And that is fantastic because the more they cross-pollinate, the better the varieties are. I just can't tell you. And again, so easy to save the seeds. So again, they're beautiful, great, gorgeous. You don't harvest the seeds there because their seeds, not viable. You wanna find something dried up like this. The prime beauty is definitely gone. So what you want to do, literally just kind of falling apart right now. Let me just do it real quick, close up. Again, so easy. Each one of these little things has, let me just shave it off real quick because this is quite a lot. So, as you can see, one of the zinnia head yielded quite a bit of petals. So not all of these are seeds. Some of them are petals, some of them are seeds. The seeds are these things right here, these triangle things. Now it's kind of hard to separate them. So the best bet is just to save them all together in a Ziploc bag and then just sprinkle your seeds in a row to plant them. Because right now they're intermixed with petals, which are these white long things, and seeds, which are these triangle things right there. So super easy. Now I know I haven't shown all of the different things that I'm growing, but that's most of them, and they kind of fit in the category herbs, fruits, vegetables, flowers. So if you are missing or wanting to know how to save seeds of something else, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in my garden a little. I hope I inspired you and showed you that it is possible, it is doable to grow your food, and not only that, to save seeds and grow it again without spending extra money. Guys, it's all about just being realistic, being down to earth. So I am so glad that you tuned in. Hopefully I inspired you. Go garden a little, and I'll see you next time, because next time is very exciting. Next time I am prepping this garden for winter.